Yeah, YouTube back with another video. This time I will be talking about AEW, previewing AEW New Year's Bash Night 2. We left off night one with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Garls and Anderson. They are reunited as the Bullet Club. I'm not that familiar with the Bullet Club, except maybe a few matches and stuff. I wasn't that familiar with New Japan, but seeing that reunion, it was pretty interesting, especially with this new partnership between AEW and Impact Wrestling. That leads us into Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks will be in a six-man tag against another team. I don't know who they're going to be teaming up against, but I think it's going to be a really good match. Another thing about this that's also pretty cool is that on Saturday at Impact's Hard to Kill pay-per-view, it's going to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers against Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns, which is going to be a good match. This match with the Young Bucks, them teaming together, it's going to be a little preview. See what Kenny Omega can do. It's a good promotional tactic to me to get people to go watch Hard to Kill. I'm interested to see how that match goes and if Gallows and Anderson are going to get involved, and if they involved, what else is going to happen? You also have the added effect of you also have Dean not Dean Ambrose. I mean John Moxley. Sorry. You also have John Moxley who's gonna get in the mix. You know, he told Omega, I'm gonna be the boogeyman. I'm gonna always be right behind you. You better look over your shoulder. I will get my revenge and get my championship. So that's gonna be interesting. It's also gonna be interesting to see how the Young Bucks come into all of this. They were it seemed to me they were against the whole thing, but then they started posing with Kenny and the Good Brothers. So are they heels now? Are they face? Are they just playing them or something? We don't know, but it's interesting to see. Next thing I want to talk about, we're gonna have actually a women NWA women's title match. You have Tay Conti versus Serena Deeb. Both of these women can wrestle. I'm really interested to see what their dynamic is going to be. You can have Anna Jay possibly get involved in this match. In my honest opinion, I think Tay Conti has a really good chance to come out with the win here. Um, you're showcasing more women in your women's division. You're trying to bolster it up. What better way than to have one of your women to win a championship tonight? Now, it's likely that it won't happen, but in my opinion, I think why not give it to Tay to give her a little experience as a champion in AEW, see her further develop, and just see where it goes. I mean, what do you really have to lose here? Then you have Anna Jay. She's also been working and also she's also been working. She's also going to be important to the women's division as the year continues to unfold. You have Chris Statlander, who's possibly going to come back. I'm not sure what the status of her injury is right now, but it'd be good to have her back in the women. She's very, very much needed. But AW's women's division is not quite there yet, but it's going to get there. The whole Abaddon and Hikaru Shida, their match last week, it was okay. I'm not really that sold on Abaddon. I mean, the look she does kind of creep me out. It kind of reminds me of back in when Impact Wrestling was TNA. You had Taz. There was this talent. Her name was Daphne, and then Taz used to call her Zombie Hot, which I found was hilarious. I really like to see Taz or someone on commentary mention something like that about Abaddon, but who knows? We'll see what happens. You got Pac versus Eddie Kingston. Their their feud it's been interesting. Pac came back and he reunited with Phoenix and Penta El Zero. He reunited with them to go against Eddie Kingston. They've been having a good back and forth. You have Eddie Kingston. He's pissed because he took Phoenix and Penta in when Pac he wasn't there, and he feels betrayed. Like he brought them up. for them to turn their back on him, and he does not like that at all. So he has a lot of smoke with them, and he just doesn't like Pac at all. And the feeling is mutual. I think the match is going to be pretty good. You're going to see Phoenix and Penta get involved. Also, you're going to see the Bunny. You're going to see Butcher and Blade. All of them are going to get involved. It's probably going to lead to some tag team match next week. Who knows? You could also see Lance Archer. I think he's still feuding with Kingston. I don't understand why that. To me, that feud is not going anywhere. There's nothing you can really do with that feud. Just have Lance Archer move on to something else, and that's that. You got Jurassic Express versus FTR. FTR has been ever since they lost those titles. They've just been kind of under the radar, which is surprising to me. They haven't really gone after the Young Bucks or anything like that. Which I don't. I'm really not understanding that. But I guess what they're doing with them, they're trying to build themselves back up to go back after those titles. The whole Jurassic Express thing, it's kind of funny that this stems from Marco Stunt and his feud with Negative One, who's Brody Lee's son, rest in peace to Brody Lee. But they've been having this feud on AEW Dark. He's just coming out, Negative One's just coming out making fun of Marco Stunt, and they're getting into a brawl and being It's funny that you're having a pull apart brawl with a kid and a guy that's this kid's size. This shouldn't be. It's hilarious to me. Like they shouldn't have been able to. They should have been. Both of them should have been restrained. There is no way you're telling me that they can break away from grown men in the ring. It's hilarious to me. Um But yeah, it stems from that. You have FTR coming to the back talking to Jurassic Express saying that Marco, maybe Negative One is right. Maybe you can't do things on your own. You always have to get somebody bigger than you to do it, which riled Marco up because he's real self conscious about his height. He he says that next week is gonna be Jungle Boy and myself against you two. He's taking Luchasaurus's place, which it's okay. Marco he's really growing on me. He shouldn't, but it's just I've been looking at AEW Dark. I've heard Jungle Boy's new theme and see Marco come out dancing and stuff. It was hilarious. He's growing on me. He's growing on me. I really don't know how to feel about that, but I'm interested to see where this goes. FTR is obviously gonna get the win. They're gonna single out Marco. They're gonna dissect him. They're gonna keep Jungle Boy as far away from the action as possible, and I think they're gonna come out with the W. That's just it. And we have a waiting room segment with Cody Rhodes. Now, for those of you who don't know, the waiting room is a segment, one of those talk show segments that wrestling is known for. That's featuring Britt Baker and Reba, Reba, yeah, Rebel. This segment has primarily been used on AEW Dark. I'm not that familiar with it. The only episode that I remember watching the most memorable for me was the one with Sean Spears and Scorpio Sky when Scorpio threw him through the glass window, which is a homage back to when Shawn Michaels did that to Marty Jannetty. It was real good to see. Like that was nice. But that's really the only segment that I've seen. I'm real interested to see how this one with Cody Rhodes is gonna go. What questions are gonna be asked? Um what's all I do know is that Thunder Rosa is probably gonna get involved. He's gonna beat up on Britt Baker and Reba. Reba's probably gonna take the brunt of that attack, and Britt's gonna run away, which typical heel fashion, I know. But I'm interested to see. This is the first waiting room segment on AEW. Maybe it's done so well on Dark that they can actually put it on, and it can be a regular thing on AEW. Which I guess it's fine if it's gonna help out the women's division or help out feuds on the show. I mean, why not give it a shot? Then we have Miro versus Chuck Taylor. I'm not sure how to feel about Miro right now. I'm glad that he left. He's not in WWE anymore. It looks like he's having the time of his life. But to pair him with the whole thing with Kip Sabian, it's kind of just falling flat for me. The whole Kip Sabian and him being the best man, and it's not really doing anything for me. That's not saying that I'm completely not sold on Miro. I think he's going to be huge in AEW. I'm just not sure what they're waiting on. He can do so much more for that company. Like send him after John Moxley. Like do something else with him, because him just being the best man is it's not working for me. And to be perfectly honest with you, when he does break up with Kip Sabian, I don't want to see a Kip Sabian and Miro match. Like that feud is not really going to go in. It's not going to do anything for anybody. Penelope Ford she's just going along with him. She's not really doing anything right now. She I'm surprised she isn't going after Hikaru Shida. The is kind of women's division is kind of in a standstill right now. They're not really doing anything. They need that kick, that spark, and they don't have it yet. And I think it's mainly because of Hikaru Shida as champion. I think she's been a good champion. She's had some good matches, but same problem that like with Riho, like she doesn't really feel that important, which is a problem. You you have to address that. You have to fix that. It doesn't have to be immediately, but you need that spark. You need that kick to really get this women's division rolling. But back to Miro, he's gonna be going up against Chuck Taylor. They've been feuding with the best friends in Orange Cassidy. You've seen I believe it was Trent Beretta he was in an ambulance, and Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor went with him. I think Trent is injured right now. I'm not 100% sure what the injury is, but hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. But this match with Miro, Chuck Taylor needs to come out pissed off on a house of fire. We know we're gonna see Orange Cassidy. He's gonna do his thing. Kip Sabian's gonna be there with Penelope Ford, but Chuck needs to come out and just beat the hell out of Miro. Miro could possibly win with some inside the ring shenanigans, but I think they can both look strong. Win or loss from either one of them. But I have Miro winning that match. Then we have the Inner Circles. They're gonna announce what their New Year's resolutions are. Everything seems okay with the Inner Circle, but I still think that MJF is being the puppet master here. He's forming a good rapport with the Inner Circle, and he thinks he's winning everybody over. I think Sammy's still kind of wary of him. There are so many directions that they can go with this. They can have MJF. He just starts to sow seeds that Chris Jericho, as the leader of the Inner Circle, he's just not getting it done. Like, look at where y'all were a year ago, and look at y'all now. Y'all are afterthoughts. Y'all are nothing. With me as the leader, we will be better than we have ever been before. I think that's the play that he can go with. And then you have Wardlow and Jake Hager. They had a match last week, pretty good match. Wardlow came out with the win. They seem like they're possibly on the same page, but you never know. But it's so many different ways that they can go with this. They could have MJF. He becomes the new leader of the Inner Circle, and Chris Jericho's kicked out. He's not seen for months, and then he comes back better than ever, in shape, rejuvenated, and he's able to have some really good matches because lately he hasn't looked that good in the ring. I mean, he's still doing the same thing, but you can tell like he's gotten older. He doesn't have that same pep to his step that he did. That's not knocking on Chris Jericho. I love him. I love what he's done. I love what he's doing to put over younger talent and to get them where they need to be. I wish more older talent would do what Chris Jericho is doing, like Goldberg, but that's a story for another day. But I'm interested to see where this segment goes. Another way they can do this, um, they can have Sammy Guevara. He defects from the Inner Circle because he doesn't like the way things are going. He hates MJF. MJF just does something to push him over the edge, and he just beats the crap out of him, and he's kicked out of the Inner Circle. Or they another way they can do it. The tensions get so bad between MJF and Sammy Guevara. They have a loser leaves the Inner Circle match. They are banned from the Inner Circle if you lose that match. That could be really interesting. That's another way they can go with it, but this inner circle segment, I'm expecting it to be good, very entertaining, and that's how I feel about that. And then we have the main event. You have Darby Allin going up against Brian Cage for the AEW TNT Championship. The championship has a new design. As you know, they retired the old belt in honor of Brody Lee, which I think is a really nice thing for them to do. But I'm loving the new design of the championship. Darby Allin is killing it as champion. I'm really interested in this feud between him and Brian Cage. You have Sting in the mix. He's always thwarting the Team Taz's plan, man. And I know it's pissing Taz off. He went on a tangent last week when the snow was falling on him. Like he is sick of it. Um, I'm interested to see what they're doing with this whole Sting and Darby Allin thing. Looks like he's kind of acting as his mentor, kind of like a relationship between Cody Rhodes and what's his name? Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of like a looks like it's gonna be a relationship sort of similar to that. Maybe we could see that. Maybe Sting. I think Sting is gonna get involved in this match. He uh he might thwart Team Taz from getting involved and all that stuff. You could also see what I like to see. I love to see Sting turn heel. It probably won't happen, but I love to see Sting turn heel and hit Darby with the baseball bat and have Darby end up losing that championship and have Brian Cage walk out with the win in that title because their whole storyline, they're pissed that the FTR championship is not recognized as a championship. This could be a way to do that, possibly, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like if he wins, does a segment next week where they toss the TNT championship in the trash and the FTR championship becomes a championship in its place or something similar to that. But it's gonna be a good match. Darby Allin has just been he's been killing it. Only thing that I'm concerned with him is these segments where he's always jumping off stuff. Like he's overdoing it. Like it's becoming too much. And being put in a body bag, like come on, man. It's not real. It's not realistic. Like why would you do any of this stuff? I know his whole gimmick is that he's not impervious to pain. He's kind of indifferent to it and he throws caution to the wind every time he gets in the ring and stuff. But he's gotta be smarter and he's gotta be better. But in the ring, he is perfect. He just has to hone in on himself as a character. Maybe not do as much extreme stuff. Maybe like hold that in to when it's really important to where he really has to put it all on the line to win a match. That could be interesting. Brian Cage, what can be said about him? He's a huge guy, all the muscles in the world. He's fast. He can get it done in the ring. He's he's okay as far as promos go, but since you have Taz can talk for him all day, and it can just click off of each other. But yeah, that's it for the review. I'm really excited about tonight's episode of AEW. I think they're gonna knock it out the park as always, and we'll see what happens. Peace.